put my phone in airplane mode as soon as I start recording because the amount of times I've had to re-record stuff in the past.
I just hate you for you promised me so much.
I'm just repainting the walls every 2 days,
Nicola, I absolutely love this blush that you're wearing today. Where is it from, or what is it?
The blush is from a PR company, but I'm very glad that you actually recognized it because I got this new light setting that I really wanted to show you guys. We kind of wanted to talk about equipment for UGC anyways, so I feel like that would be quite a nice opportunity to talk about a little bit today. There's a lot of questions about what equipment we need when we start UGC from creator perspective and from a business owner's perspective. What do you think a person who wants to start UGC realistically needs to start their content?
I could give you an endless list, but to keep it simple for people in terms of you've just started, what's the necessities? Number one thing you have to buy is a tripod, and get a tripod too that actually gives you better angles, if that makes sense. So for example, I have a few tripods. One of them is just literally rotating. It's like a selfie stick one that I just take on the go. Another one I have, it's a wee bit more, maybe 30, 35, but you get the angle on it. Get yourself a good tripod, because that number one is the best thing to have. Second one then is invest in your lighting. Get good lighting, because let's be honest, as creators, we all know how important lighting is, and especially if you're from Northern Ireland, we don't always get sun, and it's usually half the time gloomy that you have to then get smart with, okay, how can I make this look good? Before I go off into a big spiel of stuff, that's my top two. But what do you think?
Especially if you're just starting, because I believe you don't necessarily have a big budget to just throw around on your expensive equipment, especially if you don't know if it's going to turn up well for you. So maybe go for something that is quite basic, but it does the job, and you feel like, okay, I'm doing a professional, content. I think it's also handy, the one that you said, Ali, because you can actually turn it around. It was very flexible. I don't know how to explain, but it was like this. I think it had 3-4 legs or something like that, and you can just bend it. You can actually hang it around something as well. So that would be really handy too, especially maybe if you're doing unboxing, I guess. And then I guess the camera from an iPhone is high quality enough, right?
I get asked that quite a bit too. It's oh, what iPhone do you use? Or what's your camera and stuff? Because I think a lot of time people are I need the newest. But I will always say, I don't know if you used to, wipe your lens. Wipe it. Because honestly, people don't realize it. Wipe your lens. You can use what you have. That's the point of UGC. And for a brand point of view too, if you're wanting to make content in-house, get yourself a tripod, wipe your camera lens, and then the next step up, get yourself some good lighting. In terms of lighting too, my one thing would be Neewer, if I say that right, Neewer. Best lighting out there to get. It's a wee bit more expensive, but it's top quality. I highly recommend using it.
Also, going back to the point of the phone camera in general, there's been a lot of controversy on social media when, the iPhone 15, the camera quality is almost worse than the older versions of the phone. People are like, what do we do? Do we upgrade? A lot of people regret upgrading. For me, the best phone that I've had personally, but I do agree, just wipe your camera, just wipe it. If you are looking for a phone to record better content with, for me, the best phone that I've ever had is iPhone 13 Pro. The problem is that you cannot buy a new one anymore because they just discontinued them. Now I'm stuck with this phone. I had it for 2 years now, and I can see that it is slipping. But the quality of the videos and everything, I'm just don't leave me, please. I'm considering to just keep it as a camera. Obviously, we're very much Apple girlies here.
Yeah.
But there are people who are smashing it with their, Samsung. You cannot take it away that for the realistic quality, a lot of people actually do use that instead of iPhone, because iPhone does this little aesthetic thing. For example, my dad, obviously he's not a content creator whatsoever, but for his needs, we were in London, he wanted to take a photo of Big Ben, and I was like, let me take a photo, it will be nicer. And he's like, no, because yours is so flat and mine is 3D. For the type of the content creator that you are, if you are focusing on travel, things like that, if this is what you want to focus on, then perhaps those phones could perform better for you. To like kind of sum up the beginning stage, you definitely need a phone with a camera. Make the most use of the back camera. Try to stay away from the front camera as much as you can. Tripod or some sort of like phone stand so you have a very static point of view, and then some sort of lighting, especially if you live in UK or like another gloomy place. So for example, right now I am using this little light setup. You can get creative because like obviously we've always been like, oh, it's a ring light, well, you need a ring light. Right now there's so many powerful tiny things that you can get. This is a nail technician lamp, but it just is like so strong, and different lighting settings. Then going back to tripods, to start with, I think just go for the one with angles, because that's going to save you so much time and nerves. Get something that's quite stable at the bottom as well, if you do need to hide the legs a little bit, because sometimes when you flip the camera like that and then you can see the tripod's leg in the shot, not the best look. Probably want to avoid that.
Or if you're filming even outside, because some of like my wee selfie stick version of a tripod, it's so like wobbly. So for beginners, we'll say those two things. That would be what you should get.
Do you have any recommendations on the actual like equipment? Like what exact like phone stand would you get? Like stable or not stable? Do you really know this?
When you go on Amazon, I would say it's probably the best place for it. Just go by the reviews. Look out for those qualities that we just spoke about in the reviews.
If it's got legs that go down, like from like the top down, compared to the ones that are the whole way down flat, they're the most unstable, that just have the legs at the very bottom. Whereas if you have like the 4 pointers, they're sturdy. That's what they're designed for. I was literally just pulling up there too, because I'm just like literally getting it up for like a sturdy one. I've got on here Amazon Victive tripod. Like it's a proper tiered.
When you level up slightly, you probably want to experiment with angles, because in every situation you might need something else. I'm going to show you this really funky one that we got recently. Look at this. So this clips to like any surface. This is tight, and then this you can kind of do, and you can, the shapes and the angles that you can get with this thing is insane. Plus this is like very secure too. It is cheap as well, but it's just, and this is like sturdy too. Like you do need, it's a little bit of a workout to stretch it out sometimes, but it's worth it. This doesn't have a leg. So like when you put it into the surface and you flip it down, you've got loads of more room to actually have in your frame.
Next on my wee list as well that I have here is like adapter lead set. I don't know if you have this, even outside of UGC, but we all know too when it comes to actually like afterwards, when you create content, like you're putting it into your laptop, for example, or if you're like wanting to have external drives, like there's lots of different like adapter points you need. So I highly recommend anyone getting as well is, it's a little circle. It's literally like £3, and you can literally have all the adapters you need, and you just plug it in. Especially too if you're out and about creating content and you need to be able to like change things over. Done. You don't even have to worry.
Those little things like adapters, stuff like that is great to just have on the go whenever you might need it.
Another thing too would be battery packs. Do you have them? Do you use them?
Nope. But go on, I want to know.
I'm like OTT here, clearly with the tech. So like I always have 2 battery packs. So literally I have like a little pouch, and in that pouch I have a battery pack. I have that adapter lead. I have like the laptop thing, so it's always in my handbag. So if I'm anywhere, especially if you're out and about getting content, there's nothing worse you hate than if your battery starts to die. Or for example, if you're filming in the house, if you're not near a power outlet and you're like, I need to be near this to get the angle, and your battery's just, you've been filming
yeah.
So I call them power banks.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't actually know what you meant, but it makes sense. It's a battery pack. It makes sense to me. When I think battery pack, I feel like drills and like the big things that.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, I don't use those in my content, but I would love to hear. So power bank / battery pack. That is very important. Yeah. But just in your everyday life, how do you live without a power bank in your bag? Please tell me, because I want to know.
I need one anywhere, because I freak out if I'm out all day, and I'm like, especially if I'm going out all day and all night, or if I'm traveling, like,
Should we talk a little bit more about the light, different settings that you can get?
So that newer one I was on about earlier, the reason why I love that is because you can control the cool light and the warm light in it, and it also has a dimmer. I think it's fantastic because also too they come with battery packs slash what do you call
Power
them?
banks?
Power banks.
They are, like, I will lie, a good bit more pricey, but they're very worth it in terms of, once again, wherever you're filming, if you just need that spotlight a little bit more, you don't have to worry about having a power outlet. You can actually just bring it around with you, having control over your cool and warm light, because cool light is great for that, like, LED brightness, where sometimes I want that warm, fake sunshine, fake golden hour, but I will always be a newer girl because I think they're fantastic 10 out of 10 lights.
Plus, cold light, it's great if you want to look professional, right? If you want to be like medic, therapist, accountant, they're great because it just makes you look older and it makes you look more serious. This one's got the warm cold. Should we do a little test if it actually makes a difference to you girls? So this is the warm. So we're in Ibiza right now. Oh.
This is the cold one.
This is, see what I mean? This is like neutral, but still a little bit warmer. So that's what I had it on before. Look at the difference, by the way. That's crazy.
Oh no, like light, yeah, always. But I think too, sometimes you just need a little bit, and that's, for me, I find in even UGC videos, if creators have that strong LED white light, ring light, it's really bad if you've got too strong a white light because it looks, that dark background behind you, you've got to balance it up. And
you do.
Don't want that spotlight effect because then it looks like it's a middle of the night, you're filming, doesn't look that high quality.
You want to look at as close to natural, but just you look better essentially, or the product looks better, right? Also, really good light is that little selfie light that you clip to your phone too. Square one.
Oh yeah, I know that.
I need to get this. I get targeted with ads so much for that.
That one from like the TikTok shop that went viral, it is, I hate to admit, but it's just really good. It's really good. And it makes your front camera quality so much better.
It does make good pictures, and like some of my friends have them. But I get such a neck when people whip them out when we're in public. I'm like, oh god, because it's such a bright light too. Like,
just embrace it.
I think at this point, you shouldn't necessarily care anymore what people are saying because that's your job. Remember the episode with Amy and her story about going to the more you do it, the more comfortable you will feel, like, okay, people are going to watch me, I don't care.
You know, sometimes when your personality just doesn't align with this,
that's true.
Simply just maybe don't do it. Don't go for those
or
briefs,
maybe don't do it. Yeah, exactly.
And people want to work with you because they've seen what you've been doing. Obviously, it's great to push your like boundaries and push the things that you do, but like if you are watching the video and you're like, ew, I don't want my friends to see it, maybe this is just not you, and maybe this is just something that you shouldn't be doing because it's not authentic to you, and that's the keyword for UGC in general, isn't it?
I think a really good point there, because I know myself at the start anyway, I was like trying different styles to know what is my style, because it's like, oh, I'll try this and put yourself out of your comfort zone. But I've definitely like a lot more recently embraced the type of style of content I like. And instead of being like, oh no, I'll do this because the brand wants it, I've got a lot more like, look, if you want me, this is the style of content I do. I'll never be a comedy style UGC creator. I love the videos, I love the banter they have, but I know that's just not me. And I really struggle to do that style. That I'm like, okay, instead of beating yourself up about it, don't even worry, focus on what you're actually good at, and brands will actually, because brands will want that style. Because
it's like, if you want to eat pizza, don't go to a Greek restaurant.
Yeah.
Like, and don't shout at the chef that they can't do it. Like, this is not their forte.
Just get a souvlaki from a Greek restaurant. It is important to have your own style as a creator, because that's what makes you unique, right? And I think it's very hard to find it, because you don't know exactly when you're starting, at least. So we talked about tripods, lights,
microphones.
Yes.
Because that's an interesting one, because I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion or not, but I feel like in UGC world, we overuse the visible microphone.
Agreed.
Ooh, yeah. The little tiny ones, right?
I would agree, but on the style of content. So for example, if they're wanting a testimonial style, if it's that kind of like informational, educational style that's wanting to come across like that, yes. But I personally, it's an ick of mine. I don't like seeing UGC creators wear microphones when they're at home, pretend they're watching TV
Yeah,
or eating a
yeah,
cookie. I'm like,
yeah.
that's straight away to me is like ad. Mics are fantastic. I would say mics for the voiceovers, always have a mic.
Oh,
Just have a
yes,
fun
yes,
mic.
yes.
But visibly showing them, I'm not a big fan of unless it's that style of content that I want it to be shown. And it's like that reporter interview style.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
Yep. There's a lot of the creators on Clip that are using the visible mic. It goes a bit against the whole purpose of UGC, right? I think there definitely can be ways of, I don't know, maybe can you hide the microphone somehow? Or
By the placement of like where you have it on or
yeah.
how you're having your hair. The last thing we want for creators is to think that they're doing things right, and then the brand gets it and they're like, oh no, you have a visible mic. And then what happens then?
I think it's really became a trend without people realizing, because initially, I won't lie, I've done it in the past because you think, oh, look, this looks good, that now people have seen it enough that they started to put it into UGC, that now people blindly think, oh, that's not good, that's giving. Don't have them visible unless it's that specific type of content that needs
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And also, I'm on a rampage now, my biggest ick, lots of icks today. I hate when people do street style interviews and they have butchered that audio, screaming down. I was like, you don't even have your audio set up right, that it's just like that, like every single comment then. Didn't care about the brand that they were trying to actually promote. It was all about that's audio's, fix it. And it was a Rode mic too, so it's an expensive good mic.
Yeah.
Learn how to use it.
No matter what equipment you have or you don't have, if you don't know how to use it, it's going to be a waste of money. Just educate yourself on what you have or creative ways to like use things around you too. Like with the background, drops, is it really worth it, like spending all that money on those things? Or, do you even have a room? You don't want to clutter your life around too as well with like massive pieces of equipment that you're probably going to use once a year.
Should we talk about backdrops in terms of equipment? Have used or do you use any?
At the beginning of my journey with UGC, I didn't really think about it as something I could do professionally. So I never really thought in terms of the investment that I want to do. So I was like, oh, so what do I have around to make it look cute? So like I would invest in like white bed sheets instead. But I know a lot of people who use them and are very happy with it. There's quite a lot of maintenance with things like that as well. The last thing you want is like a dirty white backdrop behind you.
Oh yeah.
Or, it's creased. I don't know, Ali, what do you think?
Well, so for example, I got my kitchen renovated there. Before I had my kitchen, it was an old kitchen and it was not aesthetic looking whatsoever. I went down to tile store beside me and literally went in and said, have you got any like faulty tiles? And literally they sold them to me for like ridiculously cheap. I got two big 90 by 90 square tiles, and that I would just literally put in my kitchen table and prop them up, that then it give me that nice backdrop. Don't let the things stop you. If you're like, my house isn't aesthetic enough, get smart about it, because that's the funnest thing I think about it, is thinking outside of the box and how can I make something look better and people don't even realize. I would be an advocate of getting like backdrops or things like that to elevate bits. I have seen there's quite a prominent creator. I've seen though she has like made her own backdrop in terms of getting a linen sheet and making a massive canvas. Do what works for you. So like try these things, but I wouldn't be like, oh, I have to, because once again, the message I really want to get across is it's UGC. It's meant to be generic, real. It doesn't have to be polished and perfect.
I definitely wouldn't say that a backdrop is a necessity. It's not a must-have. You can definitely live without it. If you have space for it, and if you have a room with a great lighting that you're not happy with how your backdrop looks, then go for it, because that will definitely change your life.
It is a want, not a need. If you want to, do it. You don't need to. If you have to, you don't need to be like, okay, my checklist to get started becoming a UGC creator, I need to buy XYZ. That's not on it.
When we're talking about backdrops, we're talking about that massive kind of like, stand, right? When you just like drop stuff on it. Like, where the hell do you put it? Just find the white wall. That's it. That's all you need.
Styling your space too. There are loads of tutorials online, like how to change a space so easily with things that you already have. So you don't have to get anything to change the vibe completely. Maybe just take some things away, make it look simpler, so then you're in the focus. And just don't be scared of remodeling your surroundings for just that video. I remodel my kitchen every 2 days, probably. Remodel, obviously. I mean, like moving things
Yeah,
around.
yeah. I'm just repainting the walls every 2 days, like,
Yeah, but you don't need a backdrop. You can just remodel the whole house every 2 days. I would move a microwave if I needed for the video. If you work with the same client for more content, they probably would want you to diversify your surroundings too.
Other one I've got on the list here too is storage.
Ah, damn storage. It is a nightmare to store your content. Watching like TikTok or YouTubers, and I'm like, what do you just delete all I don't understand. You would have to have a external memory the size of my flat probably to keep all that content, or pay hundreds and hundreds of pounds for monthly storage somewhere. I did find a solution. I told Ali about this because I was like, girl, you need to jump on that because it's good. There is this website called Playbook. This is not sponsored, by the way, guys. We're not sponsored by them. But what is special about them is that if you are a creator and you prove to them that you are, you send them your portfolio, they're going to give you 4 terabytes of storage for free. No questions asked. You just need to submit your portfolio.
That's a big tip. How do you find these, guys? Did you Google free like terabyte?
I think I was like on the 12th page on Google search. I'm not going to lie. I had like 2-hour slot in my calendar to find storage solution. My goal was to find the cheapest solution. And 4 terabytes, that is a lot of storage.
So I bought like actual, the Lucy storage banks. Like it is 4 terabytes. And I'm like, because I bought that because I was like, okay, there's nowhere online I could affordably get that much. Whereas when you sent it, I was like, oh, for frick's sake, this is great.
And also, I think what's great about it is that you can organize your content there too. Like you can create different folders, you can change different views, so you can make your final content, outtakes, raw footage, columns. You can have multiple folders in separate folders too. So you can have like UGC portfolio, clients. It's just so helpful that like now, I don't know how I lived before. Like I remember I used to have a struggle because I would put all my clips on Google Drive, and at the end I lost so much raw footage because I had to just delete it to have the storage for the final videos.
But just because I'm interested too, and I'm sure other listeners will be too, can you take us through exactly then your storage? Like how do you do it? You film a video, what's your steps, and like how do you use that storage?
I usually move my things from my phone once the video is approved by the client. So I keep all the raw footage on my phone until I'm like approved, paid.
Sign off. Yeah.
Exactly. So then I can kind of move on from it, because the worst thing is that when you have to kind of move that content back to make edits, you don't want to waste your time. And I would usually just airdrop them to my laptop. Browser version for laptop is much better for Playbook than the phone. I just can't be bothered. The font's just tiny and I'm not there for it. I have my folders in my Playbook. For example, for clip, I would have my clip folder. And then if I drop down, I would have all my separate clients on clip. Let's give it a fictional name. Ali's.
Timmy, yeah.
So I've got my Ali's drinks, and I click in the folder, and then I have all my raw files in one column. It's called Kanban View, which I've never heard
Kanban,
about it before. So this is my clients from Clip, all of them. And then in every single one, you would have the final videos and then all the raw files. In some of the brands, I would actually have separate Kanban views for the amount of videos that I do for them, because you can also do tags. So you can do like video 1, video 2, video 3. So there's loads to explore. It's a little bit like with Notion, when you kind of get your toe dipped, then you're like, oh my God. It's like your little safe space. Because I cannot explain how long I was struggling with this. For how long? I'm talking years.
It's one of the biggest things. Do you have any external storage, or do you keep it all then online?
I do have external storage as well, but I don't know. Obviously, there's a lot of controversy about like online clouds and stuff.
Yeah,
too.
What happens if it breaks down? Whatever,
yeah, so you should have at least 2 spaces where you hold your content, right? I feel like that's quite an obvious one, but it's not easy though, because it adds that extra step. So unfortunately, I'm guilty of just holding my content on that platform now. Just the thought of downloading all this content again and moving it around actually makes me physically sick, so I feel like I might have to wait with that.
My process is slightly different. So I won't lie, I've not used Playbook as much as what I'm going to now, because like I didn't realize there's that much not complexity. Like I have like a mini USB that I plug into my phone. So my biggest issue is I am Fran. I refuse to pay Apple extra every month for the iCloud storage, because I'm like, I'm constantly offloading anyway, that I'm like, whatever. I then will like take the raw files off that for things, and then once it's like signed off, approved, I have my big Lucy pack, the 4 terabytes, that I stick all of like my raws onto as a backup, and then have my actual online. However, I do need to use online more, because basically my problem was I can't stand Google Drive and how uploading things, whereas now with Playbook, I know I need to be using it more, to be honest, because my issue is if I'm doing videos, I have to run upstairs, or if I'm out somewhere, and get the actual external drive for my B-roll. I haven't put my B-roll onto Playbook yet, but I
Yeah.
need to, because it would be so quick and easy, just be like, boom, meditation clip, sleeping clip, outside running clip, stick it
Yep.
in, done. I'm literally being like, oh shit, I'm not home at the minute. Oh, where's that? Okay, is that in this drive? Is that in that drive? So
Even if you do use drives and things for your raws, you should have centralized point that you keep all your final videos, but also like organic content base. So you've got the pieces of content that could work for multiple videos, right? So you're doing yoga, you're making yourself a coffee, things like that you can kind of just use multiple times. Sorry guys, I have to come back to Playbook one more time. You can also create folders. For example, I have my portfolio folder there. So I would copy every new video that I make into that final, or replace the portfolio. And then you can make a website link for that folder to share with other people. So then what they see is a very professional, very neat looking folders of, you know, how you want to keep your, let me show this one.
that's actually really good.
That's really handy. Yeah.
So here, for example, right, I would have my UGC portfolio folder. And then if I go here and I do get shared link, then this is what the client will see.
Okay,
So
I'm that. That's fantastic.
it just looks neat. It looks like an actual website portfolio. It's not a Google Drive link. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
It just makes it look like I have my life
Sorted
Put
out.
it together.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Go and check it out, register, and see if you can get the fund, because it is really a great tool. Girls, I do have a question from one of our listeners. So this is a question from Camille. What are the things you wouldn't buy for your UGC again?
I straight away actually have one that was a total waste of money. I went and got the DJI gimbal. Actually, here.
Yeah. What's a DJI gimbal? It feels like.
Basically, a gimbal is like stabilization. So I actually bought this because of a UGC video about how it does live tracking. So you could be like standing somewhere, you could walk across, it will follow you. And I was like, I need that. That's fantastic. I never use this ever. So this cost around like £300. I even got two and got like the light. So like if I was doing front facing, so like got the full thing, thinking like I need to update my stuff to get it. It's not worth it, girls, because like yes, for stabilizing it works and it's good, but also you can stabilize using your body, just move slowly. That I just don't think it makes any difference. I honestly never use live view because I never really make content like that it fits into. So for anyone out there thinking to get it that you need to like buy expensive equipment, I genuinely never use this. Honestly, the only time I do use it is if I'm in content days, which is not related to UGC, and filming places and people. In terms of UGC, don't get it. Don't waste your money.
Yeah. Oh, that is such a shame. Oh, this product has promised me so much and delivered big fat zero. I did fall into the trap of the kind of movement following equipment too. So I got a little phone stand that was like as probably high as the mic here. And then you were just moving and the phone moves with you. Now, this is cool for an unboxing and laughing at it with your family and like doing funny dances. This is not going to work for your UGC at all. It's useless. It's useless. You can only use it with the front camera. And one more thing is the ring light that hangs above you, that you can technically put the phone here. We got one for my husband because he's an illustrator, so he wanted to have a phone above him from like a bird's view kind of perspective. Light is good, so right, it's like any ring light you would get, but it's too weak to hold the phone. It just, the angle that it goes, it just kind of collapses, the phone falls. We've all been there. We've done the damage. We've wasted money on things that, as Ali, as you said, you probably were a victim of a big one, like 300 quid. That hurts. That hurts. But probably all my things that I never used come up to the same amount altogether.
No, I think girls, to like sum all that up then, basically what we're telling people is that if you're starting out in UGC, do not go mad buying equipment thinking you need it to like get good content. Literally get yourself a good tripod, get yourself some lighting, but lighting once again too, you can build from that. I think the focus is a tripod and creativity. That's the best thing to like actually do, and practice.
Definitely. And also let us know in the comments below if you have any sort of like tried and trusted devices, because this is the thing, this is the point of this community, is to share those little tricks and things. Also tell us things that absolutely did not work for you. We would love to hear that.
Spell it all.
Yeah, especially what didn't, because I think people should learn from these kind of mistakes. I think there's mistakes that you should learn yourself from, but these ones, especially when you're investing in equipment and stuff like that, you can literally like
learn from our mistakes.
Exactly.
Also, don't rush into any decisions. Do your research, ask around. We've got a community. Even the small decisions like a tripod, like it's still, even if it is 30 or 40 quid, you don't want to waste 30 or 40 quid.
Or just ask us. You just simply put like a question out there, like YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, anywhere pretty much, and we'll come back to you. Reach out to us over email, hello@yuska.com as well. If you have these kind of questions, we're happy to reply to these ones, not just, oh, my upload is not working, or these kind of things. We're happy to chat over about these like tricks as well. Right, so what's our next episode about?
So we're going to talk about all things online. So our editing, what apps that we use, even storage things online as well. And yeah, it's going to be a good one.
See you in our next episode.
Bye.
Bye.